I framed my mother-in-law's group text and hung it in the hallway. So my mother-in-law Diane has never liked me, but she's the type who smiles to your face and saves the knife for later. Fake sweet, always just being honest, right after saying something that makes you want to walk into the ocean. My husband Mark grew up thinking that's normal, so for years I got told I was too sensitive. I'm 32, Mark's 34, and we host his side every couple months because Diane decided our house is the family house now. Doesn't offer to help. Shows up, inspects the place like a health inspector, then tells me my cooking is brave. Here's what set it off. Back in the fall, Diane started a group text with Mark's siblings and their spouses to plan Christmas. I was in it because I'm the one who actually organizes everything. One night around 11 p.m., my phone buzzes and it's her in that group going off. I guess she thought she'd started a separate chat with just her kids. She didn't. She wrote a whole paragraph. Called me the help who thinks she's family. Said Mark settled and she prays he'll wake up before there are kids. Said my house always smells like poor people food. Then she added, don't tell her. She cries at everything and I can't do the waterworks again. Nobody said anything for like 4 minutes. Then her daughter Beth texted, Mom, Sarah's in this chat. And Diane went, that was meant for a different group. That's it. Not sorry. Just annoyed she got caught. I didn't text back. I screenshotted the whole thing. Mark saw my face and asked what happened. I showed him. He read it twice and got quiet, and I watched him do the thing he always does, start softening it. She was probably venting. You know how she gets. I said, read the part where she hopes you leave me before we have kids. He didn't have anything for that. Diane called the next morning, like nothing happened. Chirpy. So for Christmas, should we do the ham or, I said, Diane, I saw the text. Long pause. Then, oh, you're going to make this a whole thing. I said no, I wasn't going to make it anything. And I hung up. She took that as a win. Told the family I was punishing her over a misunderstanding. Beth quietly told me Diane was calling everyone framing herself as the victim, saying I was keeping Mark from his mother. So I decided to stop being the one who kept everything quiet. I took the screenshot to a print shop, had it blown up clean and sharp, every word readable. Bought a nice black frame, the kind that actually looks like it belongs. And I hung it in the front hallway, right at eye level, the first thing anybody sees when they walk in the door. Mark came home, saw it, and just stood there. He said, you can't be serious. I said, it's her words. In her handwriting, basically. Why would she mind? He didn't take it down. That told me everything. Christmas came. Diane walks in first, all wrapped up, holding a pie, doing her big entrance voice. Merry Christmas, everybody. And then she sees it, stops dead in the hallway. The pie tilts in her hands. She goes, what is that? I said, it's family history. You said we're the family house. I thought we should display something meaningful. Her face went white, then red. Take it down right now. I said, why? You said it was meant for a different group. It's just honesty. You're always honest. Beth was behind her and made a sound like she was holding in a laugh. Her husband openly read the whole thing and said, wow, Diane. The two other in-laws leaned in to read it too, and you could watch it land on every face. Diane spun around looking for Mark. Are you going to let her do this to me? And Mark, for the first time in 11 years, said, Mom, you wrote it. In front of everybody. She just printed it. Diane put the pie down on the floor, not the table. The floor, grabbed her coat and said she wasn't going to be ambushed in her own son's home. I said, it's my home too. That was kind of the whole problem. She stood in the doorway and hissed, you're going to regret humiliating me. I said, you humiliated yourself at 11 p.m. in a group chat. I just framed it. She left. Everybody else stayed. Beth helped me plate the ham and said, Diane's been invited to nothing since. And every time she wants back in, Mark tells her the hallway's waiting for her.